With Super Steeler Mike Logan, I'm Ken Laird. For the thrills and excitement of sports in any season, it's Eastern H2O in the Fox Chapel Plaza. They bring Steelers 365 to you. Robert Griffin III is going to be brought to you at Heinz Field this weekend, Mike Logan. Well, you're not going to play. But
who's he going to be sponsored by? Speed?
Yeah. Well, we've seen it all with him, haven't we? We've seen the 76-yard touchdown run to beat the Vikings from him 2 weeks ago, even though they lost in New York this past weekend. 4th and 10 scrambles to keep plays alive, and then a perfect teardrop pass in the end zone that put him ahead late. I mean, he certainly seems like the real deal. Now, a year ago, we thought the same about Cam Newton, but tell me what you've seen from Robert Griffin III, and as a former member of this Dick LeBeau defense, how you would have handled him had you still been on that side of the field.
Well, first of all, you have to give him kudos. I mean, to be a rookie, come in, leading a team of veterans, and to do what he's been able to do and have success with it has been truly amazing. I thought at some point he would have some ups and downs early in the season, just getting the grasp of the offense and then leading the football team. But he's really been spectacular. He's making things happen with his arm as well as his legs. And I just like the poise that he has, the way he composes himself. When the game is on the line, he goes out in the pressure situations and is able to make plays. Do you spy him? I mean, would there be a linebacker assigned to him? Can you not afford to? You can try that, but it just depends on your personnel. You know, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers and I'm looking at a guy to try to spy RG3, I'm not going to put Larry Foote on him. Maybe a guy like Lawrence Timmons would be able to keep up with him, but I haven't seen anyone in the league who's been able to keep up with him yet. Yeah. And you heard O.C. Umenora say, that guy's outstanding. Yeah. I mean, what do you do to try to stop him? He's going to get his yardage. He's going to be able to create some plays and probably put some points on the board. So I don't know if I would use a spy. You might have to use two guys if you try to spy him like that, but then your defense is weak because you're putting two guys on him. Yeah, and you know, Washington's stable of receivers is a little depleted. They lost Pierre Garçon to a foot injury. Maybe he'll be back. We'll see. But you might have to put some single coverage across the field, a little different than what we saw in Cincinnati when they were clearly giving Ike Taylor some help with A.J. Green. I'm sure that they'll have a defensive scheme set up for RG3 and some of the qualities that he brings to the table. You talked about in the past praying against some running quarterbacks like Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, those types of quarterbacks. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll have a scheme devised for them, but it will come from more so their defensive ends and outside linebackers trying to make sure that they have containment up the field. The thing about that and the problem that comes with that is once you contain him up the field, he's able to come up into the middle of your defense and then bust outside and create some plays. So it's going to be a difficult task for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe the fact that they've played Vic just a couple of weeks ago will help some, although, you know, he fumbled, 5, 6, 10 times in the game. That helped the Steelers as well. You know, and Vic ran a whole lot more when he was younger than he is now. They're running RG3 10, 13, 15 times a game. Can this continue? I think it can. I mean, it has some success. I know the Washington Redskins don't have a winning record right now. They're 3-4, but he has had personal success with it, and their offense has had some success with it as well. So I think they'll continue that format and cater to his athletic ability and let him make plays rather than say, hey, we're going to try to change this offense up and let you sit in the pocket more and throw the football. Well, I can't wait to see your old defense against a running, maybe the premier running quarterback now in the game, and then Eli in 2 weeks. We're going to find out how legit they are. How impressed were you with the win in Cincinnati, or do you need to see more? I still want to see a little bit more. You know, early in that game, I thought it was going to be one of those games where the Pittsburgh Steelers were just going to keep it close and end up losing at the end until Woodley came up with the big interception. So I think we need to see a little bit more. I was happy with the defensive play. You heard all the players and even head coach Mike Tomlin saying Dick LeBeau called a good game. Yeah. Well, to me, Dick LeBeau comes out and, he calls a good game every week. It's just about executing what is called, having the personnel in order to be able to go out and call a game that he wants to call. People don't understand. They always say defense wins championships, but offense dictates how a defensive game is called, where they get the ball, on the field of play, how much time the other team has the ball, if we need to get the ball back. So you have to call, a game based on where you're at and positioned on the field, who you have available to play. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have had some of their key players injured on defense, so you have to take that into consideration as well. No question. And early it looked ugly
truly, the fact that Cincinnati came out and was pounding the football, extra tackle, running up, long drive, 80-plus yards. Everybody was concerned. They made some in-game adjustments, though, didn't they?
They definitely made some adjustments, and guys stepped up and started to play. We talk about Ike Taylor being on the outside. Yes, they gave him some over-the-top help in certain situations, but he also had to go in there and match up one-on-one. And A.J. Green only had one reception in that game. Yeah. And Ike, I love you to death. You're one of my homeboys. A.J. Green was on my fantasy team. Couldn't you just let him catch a couple balls?
Touchdown. He gave him one.
But come on, man.
Give him one for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, I still got the victory this week, so
What are you complaining about?
I'm
greedy.
I played against the commissioner of our league, Lisa Nicole Young, and she talks a lot of smack. So I had to, I wanted to beat her down. I wanted to just pulverize her, and I did win pretty big.
How far you've fallen? You're Super Bowl champion. Now you're in fantasy football like the rest of us schlubs.
And I never participated in fantasy football ever before until now, and this is what I look forward to now. This is what it's come to for Mike Logan.
And this video with myself. Ken Laird, Mike Logan, brought to you by Eastern H2O in the Fox Chapel Plaza, easternh2o.com. It's Steelers 365.